So, hello and welcome to the new series of Parcham IAS. And today session is about the Hindu newspaper on 5 February 2025. So, today we will discuss about the Zevon's paradox. Okay, Zevon's paradox. AI bulls pin hopes on Zevon's paradox after DeepSeek wrote. Okay, so AI used in every sector, in terms of agriculture, in terms of education, and in terms of space. AI used is everywhere. Okay, AI used is everywhere. So in this backdrop, we are going to discuss already discuss about AI, which has been developed by Chinese startup DeepSeek. So artificial intelligence bulls in Europe are dusting off a 160-year-old economic uh, theory to explain why boom in the sector's stocks may have further to run despite the emergence of China's chip of model DeepSeek. Okay, China's chip of model DeepSeek and teach stocks worldwide plugged on January 27 after the launch of DeepSeek, apparently costing a fraction of a rival AI model and requiring less sophisticated chip raised questions. Okay, over the West huge investment in the chip maker and data center. Okay, now we have a question. What is Zevon's paradox? Okay, Zevon's paradox. What is Zevon's paradox? Now, Zevon's paradox क्या होता है? William Stanley Zevon, a 19th century English economist, okay, introduced an economic principle which states that reducing the cost of using fuel does not decrease demand for it. Okay, instead gives it a rise. For instance, more fuel efficient cars may encourage more driving, which will not significantly impact overall fuel consumption. It is wholly a confusion of ideas to suppose that the economical use of fuel is equivalent to a diminished consumption. The very contrary is the truth. Jevon wrote in his book The Call Question. Okay, in his 1865 theory, Zevon described the concept with the help of historical development of engine technology. He attributed the increased UK's coal consumption to technological innovations, and particularly to James Watt's 1776 invention of the steam engine. Similarly, the innovations like improved method for smelting iron broadened the uses and increased energy consumption. Now, whatever therefore conduced to increase the efficiency of coal and to dismiss the cost of its use directly tends to augment for the value of the steam engine and to enlarge the field of its operations. And he said, while rejecting logic saying coal taxes or export restrictions may reduce consumption, and citing another example, Zevons stated that if some technological advance made it possible for a blast furnace to produce iron with less coal, okay, and then profits would rise, new investment in iron production would be attracted and the price of iron would fall, at the end stimulating additional demand. Now, how DeepSeek defines Zevon paradox? Okay, DeepSeek defines Zevon paradox. The Chinese startup claims that DeepSeek has created an AI model with capabilities equivalent to America's tech giants like Microsoft-backed OpenAI. Okay, and most interesting part about DeepSeek's latest AI model, latest most interesting part about DeepSeek's latest artificial intelligence model is the low cost associated with building R1 as compared to the other amount tech giants like Meta and Open Artificial Intelligence have spent on developing their AI models. Okay, DeepSeek used older, cheaper NVIDIA H800 GPUs, and on the other hand, artificial intelligence company in the USA generally use powerful and expensive NVIDIA H100 GPU. Okay, it's worth mention that Chinese companies like DeepSeek could not access the best artificial intelligence chips like Navida's due to US export restrictions. As a result, DeepSeek's engineers had to create smarter, more energy efficient algorithms to make up for the lower computing power they had. And hence, the startup claims to have created its low cost model in just 2 months with less than $6 million, showing a huge contrast to $100 million spent by Open Artificial Intelligence on training its GPT, okay, GPT-4 model. This low cost model has caught the attention of tech world, with DeepSeek R1 become the top free downloaded app on Apple's App Store. This enormous difference in cost and rapid popularity of R1 reflects that efficiency was tied to lower cost processing chips. Okay, and Morgan Stanley analyzed reportedly pointed out at various indications the Jevons paradox applies to the cost of computes in artificial intelligence applications, and which means the lower cost may attract more companies or startups in the tech ecosystem. Okay, but the question remains, how will the industry adapt to this increasing demand in the wake of paradoxical phenomena? So Jevons paradox, also known as the rebound effect, okay, was created by the young English economist William Stanley Jevons. Is an economic principle that suggests that increases in efficiency can lead to an increase in consumption, thereby offsetting the gains made by the efficiency improvements. Okay, so now next, talking about the USAID. Okay, expert warn of setbacks for health development programs in India following closure of USAID. Now, the closure of the United States Agency for International Development, I mean USAID, is likely to have far-reaching consequences for India, and with expert warning, key programs in health, water, sanitation, and hygiene, wash, okay, and climate reliance could suffer major setbacks. Now, billionaire Elon Musk recently announced US President Donald Trump had agreed with him to shut the agency. Okay, according to the founder of the health sector NGO USAID, grants had already had been shrinking in recent years, with the agency of causing more on sustaining existing programs rather than launching new ones. Okay, you see that ki, people hold place placards on front of the closed USAID building in Washington on Monday. Okay, so Elon Musk blesses claimed that USAID is a criminal organization. Okay, is not just absurd, it is dangerous. For decades, USAID has been at the forefront of humanitarian efforts, okay, providing life-saving aid in some of the world's most rural vulnerable population. Okay, dismissing it with such reckless rhetoric ignores the millions who rely on its programs, undermines America's credibility as a global leader in development. MS Mutreja said. Okay, now internally, the situation within USAID remains uncertain, and with employees grappling with the abrupt decision and its implication. So what is USAID? जो सारा फंडामेंटली ये सारा जो हो रखा है ये क्या होता है? USAID होता क्या है? So now the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, was the set up in the early 1960s century, 1960s, and the administer humanitarian DIP programs for behalf of the US government around the world, and it employs around 1,000 people, two-third of 10,000 people, two-third of homework overseas. Okay, it has bases on in more than 60 countries and works in dozens of others. However, most of the work on the ground is carried out of the other organizations that are contracted and funded by USAID. The range of activities it undertakes it is vast. For example, not only does USAID provide food in countries where people are starving, it also operates the world's gold standard famine detection system, which uses data analysis to try to predict where food shortages are emerging. Much of USAID's budget is spent on health programs such as offering polio vaccination in countries where the disease still circulates and helping to stop spread of viruses which have the potential to cause a pandemic. Okay, now the BBC's international charity BBC Media Action, which is funded by external grants and voluntary contributions, receive funding from USAID according to a 2024 report. USAID donated $3.23 million, making it the charity's second largest donor that financial year. Now, the closure of the United States Agency for International Development (USAID) is likely to have far-reaching consequences for India, with experts warning key programs in health, water, sanitation, and hygiene, okay, and climate resilience could suffer major setbacks. One of the experts, however, added India's growing economy may be able to offset some of the immediate failures, but other nations such as Sudan, Ukraine, and Uganda will be suffer more. The head of an NGO working in the development sector said to USAID exit will have a huge impact, as the agency has been at the forefront of tackling several issues. According to government data, the US spent $68 billion on international aid in 2023. That total is spread across several departments and agencies, but USAID's budget constitute more than half of it at around $40 billion. Okay, and the vast majority that money is spent in Asia, sub-Saharan Africa, and Europe. Okay, primarily on humanitarian efforts in Ukraine. Okay, primarily on humanitarian efforts in Ukraine. The US is the world's biggest spender on international development by some margin. And to put it into context, the UK is the world's fourth largest aid spender in 2023. It spent $15.3 billion, around a quarter of what the US provided. Okay, So I think these topics must have become clear to you. So now let's meet in the next class. Okay, so thanks for watching.